Reddit, what's a secret your job keeps from the public? Olive Garden server. You can get 3 free wine samples every time you go. When I was a server, you could get as many as you wanted if you weren't an ass. And I pour heavy. I jaff. When we present yours and someone else's profile in front of an employer at the same time, a lot of times one of you is there to make the other look better. Worked in a no-kill animal shelter. The thing is, no-kill still does mean you have to put animals down sometimes. Especially behavioral issues are terrible. When is a dog too dangerous? Can you rehome a pit bull with a bite history? What if they get too dangerous for staff to handle? Especially when it gets out that we had to put a specific animal down and all those Facebook warriors start rioting and calling you names. It's not like we make those decisions for fun. I work at a cemetery. And I can confirm that the concrete or metal vaults that the casket goes inside of in the ground do not keep the caskets from getting wet. Actually, they do the opposite and just hold water inside. The sales team will always try to paint a nice picture in your head of what the casket vault combo will look like in the ground. And it's a complete lie. One of many lies in the cemetery funeral business. We claim to be a leader on the technology front. But we are literally running off of Excel macros with random codes that no one knows how to understand correct without causing the entire company to crash. A lot of companies, even Fortune 500 companies, are just houses of cards. Shiny on the surface. Then you get inside and you realize how much of the organization is dependent on Excel. You learn that they are dependent on legacy systems akin to DOS. And you learn that things are constantly breaking and the only thing keeping the whole company from imploding is people constantly fixing the things that go wrong. I work at a major chemical plant upriver from a major city. If it came out how old, run down, and poorly maintained literally all of the equipment that we use to make sure that hundreds of millions of gallons of contaminated water don't leak or straight up spill into the river, the EPA would shut every plant on the river down. However, the EPA is aware of how inefficient and poorly disposed all our waste products are. The plant I work for has a yearly budget dedicated to paying fines. Your child's school report is probably word for word the same as half of their class. At the hospital they have secret employees who walk around to make sure doctors and nurses sanitize their hands before entering and exiting a patient's room. You'd be surprised how many don't follow protocol and end up getting written up in a day. The chicken bites aren't cooked to order. The fries look darker today not because they're extra crispy, but because the shift manager was too lazy to change the oil, which should be changed every 5 hours. The house sauce is just mayo, ketchup, paprika, and pickle brine. The sticky patch outside the bathroom might be pee. Our secret sauce is just Thousand Island dressing. Worked in a library for 2 years. We don't make diddly squat from your book or DVD fines. They're designed to be a deterrent more than anything else. And under the right circumstances we're very amenable to just making them go away. If you had a tough week and couldn't make it to the library to return your books, we can work something out. Laughing about being too lazy to bring them back, forgetting you had them entirely? Yeah. Those fines aren't going anywhere. Semicolon. That being said, libraries don't like to penalize people who can't pay their fines. If your kid has so many fines that the computer locks him out so he can't do his homework, we're usually more than happy to help you get logged on for the day. We want to give students the assistance they need. But if a school is the one to diagnose a child for autism disorders, then we are the ones that have to pay for all the follow-up medical help. All of our videos are made by the same people, in the same building, and we just change the text logo. All of the interviews are scripted too. They literally feed the lines to the subjects, because they don't want to pay us a fair wage or give us benefits. We also don't have to sign anything, meaning no NDA. Dodo Thrillist now this. Edit. Wow, I literally just got fired. It's not because of this post. I just think the timing is hilarious. We bill by the hour, but no one who works in this industry monitors their time closely. Most of the time all it takes for a free upgrade is being polite. My manager will literally ask us, are they being nice? Unless it's the weekend or show night. Then we literally do not have the availability. Yes. Even if it's a show that you are not personally interested in going to. For everyone asking what I do, just assume it's like this everywhere. Because it usually is. I'm a special education teacher. And the amount of injuries people sustain while working in this field is staggering. I teach high school and the kids can go until they are 21. So most of the violent students are adult sized. We get concussions, bites, broken wrists and arms, scalped, as well as sexually assaulted by students who will grab you by your breast, pull out their dick and start masturbating. BTW, I like my job very much and enjoy working with the students. However, there is so little public knowledge of how dangerous the position is. Our pastries are supposed to be made fresh. We're supposed to be teaching information literacy. But none of us really checks to see if our students' sources are legit or not. Edit. A lot of people are commenting about Turnitin. We use safer sign. Those are only capable of flagging for plagiarism. What I'm talking about is checking to see if when a student cites a source for a claim, if that source actually said it. And if that source is at all reliable. There's no software for that. The longer I'm in engineering, the more I know that we don't get the design right so much as we just go with the best we have the moment we run out of time or budget. Goodwill has their own landfills for things that don't sell. Things sit on shelves for weeks with continuous price decrease. Then one last shot at selling at the outlet stores where everything is price per LB. Also, I was just saying that cause of the title. Don't get me wrong. Their programs and community work they do is great. Municipal worker. We do actually work hard and care about the city, and it's hard on us when people stop cold to yell at us without getting all the facts and we know we can't really defend ourselves. Most of the time you are reaming out a laborer who has no control over your taxes or which street is getting paved. Your package gets thrown 5-20 feet more than 5 times in its journey to you. A lot more the further it has to be shipped. If it doesn't say fragile, it's getting chucked. You don't eat the fragile stuff. If you're polite and it's the end of the day. Delivery driver. We add 10-15 minutes on the estimated delivery times so we seem speedy and not seem late if we're stuck in traffic. We also charge delivery fees that most people don't notice or ask about. I used to work for a pesticide company spraying flies on farms. Some of the poisons we used were so strong that 1 pint added to a 500-gallon tank of water and sprayed could knock flies right out of the air immediately and was just as toxic to birds. In fact, we were told if we ever accidentally spilled a bottle of the stuff on the ground we should contact the EPA to clean the mess rather than try to do it ourselves. Ironically, by fall the flies had developed such a resistance to the poison that the only way it would kill them was if you drowned them in it. Still would kill birds though. One last thing. I don't have a job, but back when I was 12-15, I would sometimes help out with the family businesses, which was selling coffee and twisted chips. When we first started, the thing that attracted people was that we would always have baked goods up for grabs and everyone loved it. The reality was that we bought it all from Costco. If you don't know what Costco is, it's a wholesale store in a huge warehouse building. Put it in different packaging and played it off as if we made them ourselves. This went on for 2 years within the business. Edit. Holy crap, 720 upvotes. What? That might sound lame, but this is the first time this has happened to me, so yeah. Damn, I sound really desperate here. Not my industry anymore. But banks would often make decisions that were probably technically illegal about which houses to repair. We tell customers that we have a supplier we get our parts from for repairs. Amazon. Our supplier is Amazon. The ice cream machine isn't broken, it just needs cleaning, which takes a long time. BK worker here. You aren't supposed to know this. But we won the State Clean Audit Award for the 5th consecutive year and didn't notify our customers. Lots of professors are winging their lectures, and showing up to office hours really does help your chances of a good grade. Receptionist. Calling to reschedule you due to schedule constraints or because the doctor is suddenly traveling usually just means they decided to take the day off on a whim and now we need to clear off the schedule. I'm a nanny. So there are so many secrets kept from me so they aren't leaked to the public. For instance, on my second day of a new job, I worked for a nice, high-profile family. I picked them up from their prestigious preschool and the oldest, 5-year-old, said, "Daddy has a big bump on his penis that he had to get poked at the doctor. I had to look ole daddy-o, aka my boss, in the eyes that evening knowing he had a pimple penis. Not serious matters that would drive the country into mass hysteria. Just stuff like how much beer the parents drink, the fighting, and the details regarding genitalia. Go to love kids. They relay so much TMI it's not even funny." Teacher here. We totally talk about your children in the faculty room all the time. Sometimes they're nice comments like, "Oh, you have Emma? I had her last year. She's awesome." Usually they're not nice. Not at current company but former one. Everyone had to take additional coursework on business ethics and anti-corruption laws because a subsidiary was found bribing officials to sell the company's products. A clinical trial for Parkinson's failed because of serious adverse events, resulting in at least 3 deaths related to the product. It's now being reformulated and will go through clinical trials again as an arthritis medication. Another clinical trial failed because it was found to be toxic for Asian blood cells. They had originally tried to bypass this by excluding Asians from the trial. Just to be clear, not all pharma companies are like this. There's always a few bad apples. A lot of restaurants I worked at relied majorly on microwaves. Still, large batches, pre-prepped, labeled by date and frozen in. Even if they did keep an eye on those dates. That we don't recycle anything that we can't make money off of. The average programmer and IT guy is just better at googling things than you are. If you get a call from a telemarketing or research call center, you need to specifically ask to be taken off the call list for them to stop calling. Don't be polite and make excuses. Don't mention that you don't have the time. Don't mention the time at all. Don't even just hang up. All of those will often have the company assume on a technicality that you could technically take the call at a later time. Just straight up ask to be taken off their call list or put on their do not call list. You didn't hear this from me. Not my current job, but I used to work as a front desk agent in hotels. Hotels can do book more rooms than are available. Most systems allow sites like Expedia to book the hotel to 102%. Expedia bookings are the lowest priority. If you don't want to get bumped, book from the hotel's own website. Also be aware that at midnight, the booking system rolls over to the next day. If you need a room after midnight, call the hotel. Let's see. Which secret to share? Well, we'll go with this. Not my current job. But we release convicted sex offenders from prison who have not completed all of the required counseling or therapy required by the state. There's an obscene number who don't even start the process before they are released. If you're a regular customer who doesn't tip your delivery driver, your order is never going to be a priority. Edit. And if you're an absolutely f-king fantastic tipper, you have started many arguments. Some possibly escalating to physical violence over who gets to take your order. I work at a plasma center. Your bottle of plasma goes for around $1. 000 we give you $25. Imagine if you paid people $500. So many people could pull themselves from poverty. I work at a university facilities department. My colleagues actually really do care about students, student research, and opportunities at uni and beyond for students. This shouldn't be a secret, but I am constantly and consistently impressed by how much our electricians, custodial staff, EHS, you name it, care about students excelling and achieving. At my last job, someone cut off the tip of their finger. It was not reported to OSHA or the USDA. Also, we never found the fingertip either. Edit. It was none of you. The guy it happened to is currently in prison. Some surgeons have absolutely no business operating on people. Your grandma, though adored and cared for, is not treated like the only damn grandma in the retirement home. Childcare provider, large franchise. Ages infant to kindergarten. It is a chaotic madhouse 150% of the time. Teachers absolutely come to work sick as a dog and get very close to the kids. The strict hygiene standards are redundant, irrelevant, and just barely manageable most of the time, when not outright ignored. All of the activities, curriculum, etc. is often ignored and at best rushed through with no real benefit for the kids. Just for the sake of a quick photo op to email to parents. Staff turnover is insanely high due to management always being a joke, pay being mediocre at best, and resources being unavailable. Basically, it's craziness, and parents are actively deluded into believing it's an entirely different setting throughout the day than it is. Edit. Deluded. Also, typed on mobile. Sorry for the dozen errors. When you leave a tip on the DoorDash app, it always benefits DoorDash, but rarely benefits the driver. In my location, a tip of $5 or less does not increase a driver's pay. Ever. A tip of $5 or less goes directly to the company's bottom line. The driver's bottom line is not increased a single penny. A $6 tip will result in a maximum increase of $1 for your driver. Usually less, however. The first $5 of every tip only benefits the company. The short-term solution: tip in cash or use Grubhub. The long-term solution: start or join a class action lawsuit. The courts have defined the concept of tipping in the past, and DoorDash is not applying diner tips according to generally accepted practices. Bartender here. When it comes to wine, half the time we make up what we're telling you. Oh, the Chilean cab is a bit earthier with fruity notes, whereas the California is a drier botanical. It should also be known that I work in an Irish pub and not a 5-star wine house. Wine people are the goddamn worst snobs in the world, and I will say whatever makes them stop talking to me. Edit. Just remembered this. Anytime someone sends back a glass and asks me to open a fresh bottle, I pour from the exact same bottle. Has never failed, and they always smile and thank me. Hospitality culinary. They take advantage, abuse foreign interns with the promise of teaching them the trade, giving them a cultural experience. In actuality, these interns are getting tricked into cheap labor and are gonna be worked like a dog for a year. It is illegal to overpay doctors. It is not illegal to operate a separate company that all of the doctors have shares in, that a healthcare organization rents its offices from. We don't check makeup shelf lives. It's very probable that your makeup is over 10 years old. Found Jaclyn Hill's Reddit account. Volunteer paramedic. When we find an old person who clearly has been with no pulse for hours, we close the doors, shut relatives out, and pretend to do something to avoid useless legal action. Vision Express opticians can get you most types of lenses if you're not set on a specific brand. Just a product type, overnight, or in 2 days. Glasses take a total of about 20 minutes to make and check. Unless you're getting sunglasses. 1.67 index lenses are a waste of money. Buy a 1.6 index or a 1.74 if you have a large prescription. If you buy a smaller frame, your lens will be thinner as well. Granite is actually pretty f***ing cheap when you buy it in big slabs. We mark up at 65%, which makes the pricing outrageous. I don't know that this is necessarily a secret, but don't assume all surfaces in a hospital are clean sterile. We wipe down all beds and countertops frequently. But the floors need to be mopped and they only get truly sanitized once a day or once per week. There are not enough environmental services staff to mop all of the floors every day, and patient turnover in the emergency room needs to be faster than mopping and waiting for the floor to dry. I saw a parent put their baby on the floor on the ED once, and I immediately told them that they needed to keep the child off the floor and wash their hands right away. Every once in a while I'll spill water or something on the floor, and the dirt I pick up with a paper towel is frightening. So, don't touch, crawl, or lay on the floors in a hospital. Inpatient rooms may get mopped after every patient, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't train the dog. I'm training you. Unfortunately, so many behavioral issues in dogs are caused by their owners. 90% of training dogs is human therapy. Only the crust and the sauce are homemade, all of the toppings are frozen or canned. You guys don't make your own pepperoni? I feel betrayed. Chain steakhouse restaurant I used to work at for years. All these motherfuckers ordering a 6-ounce sirloin butterfly, well done but juicy. That order does not exist. Outside of very time consuming methods, slow roast, sous vide, etc. For a place putting out entrees in 12-14 minutes. That steak would be butterflied and microwaved in a shallow dish of orgeat. Slapped on the grill for 30 seconds for char and Bob's your uncle. Perfectly legal. Safely cooked and all of that. But not how a steak should ever be prepared.